facing the police every single day.
Hey, Shire County, this is Shire County Copwatch, and we got to do a story here on this guy right here. This is Shire County Speaks. This is Radio Morning Show, 1580 AM, and this morning they were doing a really good topic. They had a guy on there, commissioner from the Shire County Commission, and he was doing a story on the corruption in the commission, where they literally committed crimes. But then, I thought I would call in. I would mention, as you guys know, I'm doing a story about the gun list, and it was just the day before we called. He had somebody on that came on the radio because my friend that was a victim of the gun list went in the guy's gun shop, High Power Outfitters on Punta Gorda, and told him about the gun list. And then, the guy, a bunch of cops shop there. So he said, I asked, and we found out the other day that he is a prison guard. Used to be. So now we know why he's a cop sucker. And he goes, I asked my friends, they don't have a list. So I was like, really? So then I went in the list. I showed one of the workers the list. And he was like, holy shit, man, this is bad. So then all of a sudden he goes on a radio show yesterday. And we heard about this list. It's not real. I call in. They're like, fuck you, click, hang up on me. Chris, the victim, calls in. They're like, fuck you, hangs up on him. And then Lindsey Harrington called in. The guy, the state rep that wrote the bill, 790.335, on the sheriff and the police cannot have a list of gun owners, and crucified him. So I thought I would call in today while this commissioner's on the phone, because Lindsey Harrington said that this is so bad. If they violate this 790.335, it's a third-degree felony against whoever committed it, up to a $5 million fine against the agency, and whoever has been victimized has redress. They can sue the fuck out of them. So Lindsey Harrington said even the commissioners are contacting him, say, are we fucked? And he's saying, yeah, you're fucked. The sheriff violated people's rights. They've committed no crime, and he's illegally profiling them. So then I call in today. I was like, yeah, did Joe Teseo hear about the illegal gun list? And they're like, fuck you, hung up on me again. Ha, ha, ha. This was about something about yesterday and all this shit. I'm like, oh, my God. And then Teseo, the commissioner, is like, let's talk about gardens next. Ha, ha, ha. Like it's a big fucking deal. Who cares if the sheriff committed a third-degree felony, $5 million fine, and they can be sued? And they think it's a joke? Then this motherfucker, Ken Lovejoy, went on later and crucified me. I'm going to attach the audio that I'm a whack job for fucking doing this shit. If it wasn't for Copwatch in the past 6 years, 3/4 of the corruption that came out about the sheriff would have never came out. Since Copwatch has been here, 350 to 400 people have left, quit, or fired because they're getting exposed. The gun list would not even be fucking exposed if it wasn't for Copwatch. And this motherfucking asshole goddamn prick, Ken Lovejoy, says I'm a whack job crack dealer? What a fuckhead. He doesn't even know what freedom is. What a fucking ass. He needs to be sent to North Korea where Nazi fucks like him. As you can see, I have his cell phone here, right here in the right-hand corner. I was texting him. Just like I said right here, you would have supported Nazi German police putting the Jews in the oven, you sick bastard, and that's totally true. Because the cops never do anything wrong. Oh my God. The German police put fucking people in the oven. And this fucker would support it because the cops never do anything wrong. Because half his fucking family is full of cops. You're a complete asshole, disgrace to America and the Constitution, and do not deserve to live in America, you fuckhead. Jesus fuck. And here's the good news. I just talked to the victim. He just got the best goddamn gun lawyer in Florida. Eric Friday just took his case, and he's going to sue Charlotte County's ass off. Government, the sheriff himself, John Heck, that was illegally fucking with the gun list, the gun pawn list. Motherfuckers. Remember what our founding fathers said. Take a goddamn country back before it's too late, and it's almost too late.
They feel the need to kiss Sid's ass like this. I don't get it, quite honestly, myself. Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, did he hear from Lindsay Harrington that the sheriff has the illegal gun list?
County commissioners, I don't know. Yeah, Lindsay Harrington. We got to get Lindsay on the phone. That's from yesterday's show. So what are you gonna do?
So, Ken, what do you want to do? Talk about landscaping next?
God.
I know.
I just, it is. It's sad. It's 9:40 and sign up for the annual Knights of Columbus charitable golf scramble. Huh? I don't know, because I think I know who it is. That's why. So just let it ring for a while. Thank you. 206-1580, toll free, 888-441-1580, though I'm probably not getting, the guy screaming for yesterday. Look, you're not reputable. You guys are about as reputable as a crack dealer, and you've done that to yourselves. And the people that I'm talking to know who I'm talking to. They know I'm talking to them. So now you got something. You got a bone. Let Lindsay and the lawyer handle it because they know how to do it right. You guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're too over the top. You're too out there. You're too hang 'em high right now. Sorry, that's not the way it works. And half the time, you got crap wrong. So forgive me if I don't give you my full undivided attention. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump looks like he's eyeing Amy Coney Barrett.
Copwatch, policing the police every single day.
Participation trophies, blue, red, pink, rainbow.
In our new meaningless section, right over here.
Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Yes. Is he aware that the Charlotte County Sheriff has an illegal list of gun owners?
Well, we've received that question a few times, and we have talked to a few sources at the sheriff's office, and as a matter of fact, I checked with the Department of Agriculture, and I did read and access some online material with regard to that, and my conclusion is that's not an accurate statement. I have no evidence that says that they do, and the Department of Agriculture withholds that list. There is no public list. And if you go to the Department of Agriculture, they'll tell you that. But more importantly, the gun advocates from U.S. Concealed Carry Association, which is uscca.com, and the NRA, they do a lot of this background information. And when you go to their sites and you pull information on obtaining a CCW license in the state of Florida, it'll give you most of the commonly asked questions, about 40, 50, 60, depending which page you go to. And one of them asks, do local sheriff's offices or law enforcement officials maintain a list? And the answer is no. So from multiple sources, I have a no, and I did speak with some contacts here locally, no. Now, that is not to say that, and I asked this question as well. If a person,
it was related to pawn shops.
Yes, there's a list maintained from weapons that are turned into pawn shops, but pawn shops, even though some of them can deal in weapons, they're under a whole different set of rules than a standard FFL, a federal firearms license holder, like Higher Power Outfitters is. Mm-hmm. They're under a whole different set. But if you're under investigation by the sheriff's office, like if you committed a violent crime or something and you're under investigation, law enforcement does have the right to call the Department of Agriculture and find out if you have a concealed permit weapon, because if they plan on arresting you, you could pose a real risk.
Sure.
Not that this is common, because the truth is, I have the numbers, it's not common. Mm-hmm. But they can call Department of Agriculture on a one-on-one basis, and they can get a response to that question specifically.
And as I understand it, he's already had hired a lawyer here, so we can't speak on pending litigation. So we'll have to just.
The worst thing that could happen to a show like this is that it would
Gettle Chevy, and big deals. We have another call here. Let's see what this is. Hi, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I was calling about that gun list.
Yes, sir.
The gun list is real. They do have the list. I ran my own name, and they have information on me from 2013. And they also have my CCW, that's in record and has been sent to every police department in Florida. It's an ongoing record, and it's on everybody. Anybody's got a concealed weapons permit.
Huh. Well, I guess they know who to call when they need backup. Then
I guess so. Again, I haven't been able to find any of that information out there, and I've asked the questions. I've gone to the right people now. Again, I'm not trying to be an investigator.
That's not what we're here for. We're here just doing a little update on this stuff, and everybody's getting all pissy like it's his fault. Lighten up.
Trust me, I have nothing to do. It's up to me. There'd be no list at all. I think one of the greatest reasons are
we know why they make lists.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to explain it to us.
Right. And I think our founding fathers had it right when they gave us the Second Amendment so that we could protect ourselves. They never even thought of keeping a paper list, right? Can you imagine keeping a paper list of every single American? Because I don't think at that time there was any that didn't, have a firearm for a multitude of reasons. So I'm not sure where that goes, but it's a good thing.
I think I agree with the work squad.
Yeah, I totally agree with those contracts. I think they're great.
All right, thanks, Al. He's cranky, old man.
Oh,
Hi, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Ken. This is Lindsay.
Lindsay Harrington. How you doing, sir?
Lindsay, how are you?
Hi. Doing fine. No, I've just caught part of this conversation. Someone told me the other day that my name came up on the radio in regard to a bill that we passed back in 2002, 3, 4. I forget the date on it. But what was going on was the pawn shops were keeping notes on who held guns and in Broward County. And the Socialist Republic of Broward was trying to, find out who had weapons. And when an officer would respond to a problem in a neighborhood, as he went to that address, they were informing him that the house 2 doors up had a rifle or just bought a pistol, or the occupant of the home was, owned a weapon of whatever. And that was the kind of information they were compiling, and it's illegal.
Yes, it is. I would agree with that.
We pressed the issue, and of course we won. But it looks like that Charlotte, Sarasota are doing that right now. They're compiling some kind of a list on people. I have no problem with them. As I heard earlier, making a call to see if a perp was carrying had a weapons permit or whatever. But I don't even have a weapons permit because I don't want my name on a daggone list. I have none. But, I have one when I need it. Let's put it that way.
Very well.
Yeah, I got you, Lindsay, and I agree. I mean, obviously that's illegal, and it's disturbing. Again, I don't have any inside information on this, but let's just speculate that exactly what you're saying is true. That
have you seen this?
They might be engaging in this
Lindsay?
list.
Pardon me?
Have you seen this? Have you seen evidence of it? Because all I've heard is
No,
hearsay.
I've had it passed to me, and I have been those people in Tallahassee who have the grandest of influence, much better than I'll ever have, and the issue has been passed to a Second Amendment lawyer here in Florida by the name of Friday, and Attorney Friday is on top of this issue.
Joe Friday is on the case.
Yeah,
Dragnet.
Just the facts, man.
Just the facts.
714. 714. But anyway, he's on top of it, and supposedly there's been some infractions here from what I'm being told, and so they're looking into it right now, and the person I've talked with in Tallahassee, who's a big NRA supporter and watches everything in Tallahassee, she says it's best to go the route of getting the Attorney General on top of this, and that's where they're headed. The Attorney General of Florida is going to look into this and see if there's, this is going on. And as I had told this gentleman who called me, having learned that I was involved with this bill back, a decade or more ago, that the best route is to go to the AG. Of course, the AG is not going to go jump. They're going to do their research and make sure that there is or is not a problem, and then at that time they will take the course that's appropriate, and that's acting, using your
Yeah,
head.
that's true. And now, how would the state attorney general go about that? Would they have one of their local?
They're going to ask questions, and they have investigators, just like our state's attorney's office has investigators. They're going to investigate. They'll have some attorney say a complaint was filed that you're having records, and they're going to ask them for the truth. And woe be unto them if they fib to them. They'll make their investigation, and if they cough up the info and they find out the law has been broken, they're going to issue an edict. Hey, cease and desist. That kind of thing. That's the proper way it should be handled. It's
No, I agree. I agree.
Also understand that there's been some warning given to an individual that he was violating, I think, the rights or the abilities of the sheriff's departments to do such and such, and he's a little scared for himself. And Mr. Friday's also looking into protecting him as well. So anyway, that's the course of action as I've last heard it.
Well, Lindsay, at the end of the day, I mean, isn't the sheriff responsible at the end of the day for the actions of his staff? I mean, if they're compiling a list, whether he has direct or indirect knowledge, isn't he responsible for that at the end of the day?
That's just like if your kid goes out and gets in trouble, you're responsible. It's just like in any business. Buck stops at the top.
Yep. Because you've heard we've had some interest here on the radio with that. Both last week and this week, we had a couple callers calling in. And look, I would encourage them. I'm not a county official. I work at I'm at Higher Power Outfitters. I would say
we're just here doing Second Amendment updates.
We're just talking stuff.
Hey, talking
I would
guns.
say, let's go to the sheriff, make those concerns known, request that information, see if there's a public information request you could file on. I mean, there are avenues that a citizen can take, right?
Yes, there is.
Right.
And maybe another citizen needs to do it.
I had a matter of fact, I'm headed over to entertain some family members in town for a week, and this morning early on, I had an email from a former county commissioner who was inquiring of me, what has progressed on this. He's worried about it too. Is this being done? It's a violation of our rights. And it doesn't seem that it stops in Charlotte. It goes beyond Charlotte to Sarasota and others. I don't have a problem with them having the right information that they need to do what they need to do. But when it comes to Second Amendment, the only difference between us and Nicaragua, the only difference between us and Venezuela, the only difference between us and China, North Korea, or any other totalitarian regime like Iran is the right that we carry and are able to pack. And that's why the Democrat Socialist Party of the United States, along with the Communist Party of the United States, are out to remove guns from people's hands. And that is, eventually at some point, the button gets pushed and we're theirs.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'm sorry. People may think I'm a nut job, but
we've seen it happen. We've seen when you've seen it happen time and again over the last 100 years, and you see the signs leading up to it are happening here. You got to kind of take it to heart, maybe.
I mean, stating the facts. I mean, I don't understand how stating the facts can equivocate it to nut job. I mean, come on, Lindsay. You're talking about what's really going on out there, and of course they're trying to take the guns, and that's precisely why, and everybody knows it. I mean, if you can't protect your family, from a home invasion, how are you going to protect yourself and your family from the government?
Exactly.
God forbid. I mean, God forbid it ever came down to that. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's our final conclusion, right?
Yep. And I tell you what, an officer having some problems by himself when a citizen, armed or unarmed, steps up to assist him to save his life and or to help protect the officer or to assist the officer, you know, you bet you that officer is smiling with a big smile on his face after the arrest is taken care of. Same thing here. If you need to protect yourself, you dang gone better do it. And I've got a friend of mine that's from California, has been raised in the Brainwashing Society of California. She learned that a person in a business was packing, and she was scared to death. It's because she was brainwashed to believe that the Second Amendment is an offense against her, when it's a right to protect yourself. And this person was a woman, is a woman, and she was packing for the sole reason of protecting herself when she was out doing business. You know,
yeah.
People have been brainwashed to believe.
They
and
are.
You know what? Dick's Sporting Goods, I never went into them anyway because I thought it was a lousy business name. And I'm glad to see they're having troubles right now. And I hope at some point that board of directors and the stockholders wrestle the control away from that crazy guy.
Yeah, you would think.
And put it back into somebody's hands, and that they go back to doing what other sporting goods stores do, and they're responsible business people operating within the law, especially when it comes to buying and selling guns.
Indeed. Well, thanks, Lindsay. I'm late for a break, Lindsay, but thank you very much for calling in and informing us on that.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't changed a bit, has he? He still perfectly frames everything.
Yeah.
And gets right
you
to
always
the
go
point.
to Lindsay when you want the straight dope.
I'm telling you.
You want the straight dope.
This is a global conflict.
There's a lot of people working very hard to make this happen.
I like being on your show.
We'll be right back with Charlotte County Speaks on News Radio 15.
Hey, Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Copwatch. I am using any video here with under fair use if you have criticism, reporting, teaching, etc. And please donate. I do not make money from YouTube, and there are different ways to donate in the video links. Thanks.